One. The freak? I'm sorry, this thing said this means being recorded. Okay. All right, so I just want to dive straight into like I always do, futures, price action, just the basics. Just watching every single level, looking over my levels. This is actually a 2 hour. Basically, it's just short term watching, short term going into tomorrow's open. But the bigger time frames, which the 2D, the 4D, and the weekly have been basically all I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of lottos, basically weekly. But going long term, I've been paying a lot of long term plays. I've been basically making my money on short term. The long terms have been funded by the short term plays as well. Looking at ES here, I mean it's pretty simple. We rejected 43.88, and we're coming back down to the 14 SMA, which is this blue level here, as you can see, targeting 42.78. Below that, the target goes straight to the 30 SMA. The level there is 42.31. What it shows to the right is 42.24. So my target is always at 30 SMA. We want to see how that acts, how that reacts. If you go back on SPY, if you look at a SPY chart, you can see how it reacted in the past, which I'll show you guys right now. This is a 2-day. It's a very critical spot on the 2-day, 4-day, and the weekly. The big picture is there for you. You have a weekly engulfing, sorry, not a weekly engulfing, a 2D engulfing, off of that inverted hammer at the top. And then we came down, we're coming still to the 14 SMA, 428 for SPY, 425, and 423. Those two levels are very key and are very important. As you can see again, as the 30 SMA works, it's rising until it becomes a resistance. Like I would tell you guys to play that same play until you can't make money from it, whatever side you're on. So if we're playing long and we're scalping the long, we keep playing until it starts going against us. When it goes against us, that's when we flip. And how I play that specifically is if it goes against me more than 2 times, that same play, then I know it's time to short it. Even if I even, not even average down, or I go closer to the money. So you got your typical SPY. You have your 4D. 4D shows you as well, simplifies it. We have a nice big drop coming for the 30 SMA. 14 is pretty tight when it's rising. See, everybody's always talking about just past moves over years, crashing. And I tell you guys, stop worrying about stuff like that. Focus on price, because price is key. And here, this engulfing on the 4D as well. Went inside, and then we're going straight down, 425.56. 4D, target is the 30 SMA. If that 14 rejects, 14 usually rejects, sometimes finds a support, bounces, and then comes right back down to the 30 SMA. Once this blue crosses below yellow, we turn, and we're headed down. Can you please turn off your videos? Thank you. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. It's just very simple. I know a lot of people they've been going short, you know, and it has not been working. And if you do go short, it's more short term. The long term here is to target the 30 SMA with at least 4 to 6 weeks time here on the 4D. And why I say 4 to 6 weeks time, because you have a lot of room to suffer, and you won't suffer as much from premium burn as you will with weeklies. So my main focus this week, I'm focusing on 2 tickers or 2 sectors. By ticker, it's going to be MELI. I like MELI because for me personally, this is me personally. I can't speak for you guys. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me personally, I have an addiction with big ranges when it comes to trading tickers. And I like stocks that have big ranges. You have BKNG has a big range. You have MELI has a big range. But the thing about these stocks, these tickers, these ranges is about timing. You can have a 50-point move midweek and you're only getting 20%. You get a 50-point move on a Friday, holding overnight to gap open, you get a bit more than that. If you catch it, the move right before it happens on a Friday, you know what happens from there. I already drew my levels here. We have a nice bull flag and a cup and handle as well. But what mostly got me here is I'm targeting the actual 14 SMA on this 4D. Why? Because it has that head and shoulders look to it. You have a right shoulder possibly forming here. Now the goal is to hold this 1447 level. That is the 14 SMA. We are currently finding rejecting at the 30 SMA, as you can see. I want to see how we react for the next 4D. This 4D closes Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So Wednesday, this 4D closes and the new one opens. The closer down to the 14 SMA, the more time I want to look out, 2, 3, maybe 6 weeks out, looking at 16 to between 1700 in calls. As far as the market goes, honestly, do not care. If I have to short this, I'm going to short it. The target is below the 1512, which is closing 1261 or 14 SMA would be first level. Then we have this somewhat of a bear flag, if you want to draw it that way, using that channel, rising channel, coming down to this lower level, basically lands around that 14 SMA. I'm giving you guys so much simple breakdowns. You guys complicate things. There's no need to complicate anything when you're trading. You have your levels in place. It shouldn't be that hard. It's actually not that hard, to be honest with you. Because, if a level fails, and I use confirmations, I use 2D and 4D because it gives you a range of days, not just a range of a candle. It's a range of days, of how many days it's been inside a certain amount of candles or one candle. And currently we are still trading in this 2D candle that is on 7-8. Breakdown below 1508.86 is a short. That 30 SMA right there is going to be the target. Too short. You get long there, 1510 calls. That's how I would trade that. So you round it up. If there's no 1508 calls, you're going to buy the 1510s. You want to play smart, you buy time. You get at least 20 to 50% if it goes from 1508 to 25. And that's playing at the money. You can play deep in the money to play safe if you're playing with a bigger size capital. I look at the weekly, because if you can go from 2D to 4D, it can look very bullish. You can go to the weekly and it can look very bearish. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Thing about this weekly is it still remains inside. The 4D still remains inside and this weekly still remains inside. And the inside stops at 1469. Last week, what we got a low of 1484, which is pretty good. This what is this? 1468 is a key level, which is also the 14 SMA. So if you're looking at the weekly and the 4D and the 2D, this will be your map. You're looking at the 14 and 30 SMA for that. You can play this thing. This thing gives you at least 20 to 40 point ranges. So it's going to be very easy to trade it up or down. Some people are in it for so much more of a percentage gain than anything. Me, I play off if I'm paying with $5,000 and I see that position went from 5,000 to 8,000, that's a $3,000 gain. Like I'm looking at percentage. I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I made a quick $3,000. Get back into the next position. Evacuate to the next day. A lot of you want to hold because you have your hopes up. This is why I have hope as a word not to say, because you're getting your hopes up when you're trading. You shouldn't be in that position. You trade with conviction. You trade with, okay, 1508 is my level to hold for the next 2 to 3 weeks. If it holds there, we have our guarantee 1618. Above that, we get 1789. That's just a simple breakdown. All you need is levels. You cannot complicate price if you have levels. Support, resistance. That's all you need is support and resistance. Whatever technical term or whatever technical you use to do that or to do so, everything has a level. vacuum down. It's how they work. If price is above your 14 and 30 and it's way extended, it vacuums down. If its price is below and it's way overextended, it vacuums up. You guys look into so many things too deep into it for what it's not. And it's actually very simple when you look at it. So that's another play I like. XLU, we've been playing this one probably over a year. It's already 10 months now. A gorgeous setup, very strong. All-time highs, I can definitely see it. I'm still looking at my 70 September calls and 22 calls as well. Thing about me is I love to flip, but I like to buy long term. I like to buy time too. I like to use a 6 month out play as how can I say, insurance, or as my safety. You know, I put money in there. So if the price comes down, let's say stock moves 5 points or whatever like that, I know that premium is not getting no more than minus 5% on it. So I play everything smart. When indecisive, I play at the money, or I play deep in the money, or I play at the money or deep in the money 2 weeks out. Everybody knows that short term is the best when it comes to playing weeklies, but it's the best only when it's for lottos. And lottos are risky. That's why you play with a small amount of capital when you're playing with lottos, because if you play with more than that, what happens? You blow up your account. We've all been there before. And I think more of going live, it's not to tell you, oh, buy here, sell here, this and that. It's to show you how simple it is looking at a chart. This chart right here alone, I can take every technical off of it. I can tell you where supply and demand is. And I don't even trade off of supply and demand, or in other terms, support and resistance. I don't use Elliott waves or nothing like that. It's just basic technicals, basic trading, basic ranges. If you can trade just with ranges, you can go from there. This weekly is bullish. We close above the 14 SMA. We're targeting extension over this candle right here. High here for this candle, 67.47. We got 66 calls expiring this week already in the money. We got 65 calls also expiring this week already in the money. At 67, 70 calls for September are considered in the money. And that I'll explain another time. It's how I choose premiums. Premiums are not hard to choose. Premiums, how you choose your premium, aka your strike, you choose it based off your levels. So I just wanted to basically break that down to you guys. Levels have not changed. XLU levels have been the same since day one. If they change, it's because we are overextended. We are way outside of price. Now you can see these levels, 68.28 target. Above that, we get 70.51. If we break that all-time high, targeting 76.99. I told everybody a year ago that this would be the play for 2021. Not many listened, but a lot of you guys have leaps in this play. This play has played out perfectly. Found a strong support at 59.14, and we just continue to flag. Nice cup and handle. Breakout, 76.28. I want to see that in about 2 weeks. Why 2 weeks? Even it can happen this week or it can happen next week. Always want to give yourself more time than needed. But never get overexcited. Remember that. It could be an inside week this week, depending on how we open. There's so many different plays. Every play that we played has levels that have not changed. If you go back into all the videos, you will see that. I just don't get why everybody likes to complicate things. You should not be complicating anything. It's not that hard. If you really want to be successful, if you really want to be consistent, you'll stop going heavy. You will take every day, one day at a time.
You don't have to trade every day. So what if you missed a move? That doesn't mean anything. There's so many moves. There's always going to be a move. But I just wanted to break that down with you guys. I'm going to try to go live during the week, but I'm going to do a lot of cliff notes with voice memos for you guys throughout the day, telling you what I'm watching, what I'm looking at, like I do with everything. Everybody's like, oh, what made you get in this trade? I like the setup. It's sitting at a key support. Like, who wouldn't want to get in this trade? The risk reward is there. Stop recording. One second.